Is Ireland full? Yes, is the short answer. And what do I mean by that? Is there enough housing? Is there enough jobs? Is the economy good for the people here? Absolutely no to all those questions. Everybody has fled to Australia, to the US, to Canada, to England. This country is in dire straits. And Virgin Media News put out this basically documentary a year ago, and it didn't convert anybody. People actually doubled down on it. Now I think 85-90% of people say that immigration is too high into this country. Let's go through it. This video is like 45 minutes long, so grab your popcorn, lads, and let's watch.
Effectively, refugees or international asylum seekers are coming into the country and the government are obliged to house them. And for the last 2 years, the government have been contracting furiously with hotels and guest houses.
Right now, as a business, my mother's business, 56 years, it's on its knees. We need help.
It's quite attractive if the government picks up the phone to you and says, listen, will you take a 2-year contract to look after refugees and asylum seekers, and here is a check to go along with it.
Oh, and the money is massive. The money is massive. Millions. The state is getting billions. 6 billion euro a year. They're paying out. Taxpayers are paying for this nonsense. It is massive money. The only reason the Irish government is doing this, let it be known, is for the money. The root of all evil. Money is their god now. Nothing else, guys. We could shut it down tomorrow, like they've done in Eastern Europe. Okay, there's no big cabal, there's no big conspiracy about people letting people in. Follow the rope, guys. Someone's saying follow the string about who letting in these people into Ireland. Nobody's letting them in, guys. The Irish government is letting them in. Slovakia, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Poland. 4 countries that let in 0 migrants. Donald Trump has shut down immigration into America with ICE. They have 0 immigrants coming into their border. Okay, we can do the same as America. We can do the same as Poland, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary. Plain and simple. There's no people in the shadowy darkness pulling strings. We could easily shut down immigration tomorrow. For sure.
At any stage, is somebody going to say, follow the money? Who's making money out of this? How is this after happening? How have we now got access to all this money?
I would call it a humanitarian crisis now, but I suppose anyone who's been following how the government treats the most vulnerable in society won't be surprised by this.
I think people who say that a country's first duty is to control and manage its own borders and secure its own borders are reasserting the basic purpose of the nation state since the concept was established. They're not saying anything new or radical or dangerous.
There are also people out there who hate people because they're from a different country or because their skin is a different colour.
That's not true. That's Roger O'Gorman. I don't know anyone, personally, that hates anybody for their skin color. That's literally just like super hateful. Like nobody is like that. That's like probably 0.0001% of the population. The vast majority of people are just pissed off because they can't get jobs. They don't have their heritage kept in check, their culture. Everything's getting destroyed. They have no money, while these people are getting shipped in and getting free houses, free hotel, free food. That's why people are angry.
Speech is almost gone in relation to these sort of things. You cannot stand up and say what the concerns are that your local constituents have. Like, it's scary to see that happening.
It feels like, look, we are essentially paying for our own services to be taken away.
These people are not vetted. They're coming here. They're brought into the IP centres to be assessed.
Please understand that if you bring more people to Killarney, you're only going to shut down more businesses because we just don't have any room anymore.
Ireland is full, and people of Ireland have always had the nature of being very good to give. There's only so much you can give, and there's only so much you can take.
Ho-ho, lads.
Ireland is facing an immigration crisis at the moment, with communities right across the country struggling and services under pressure. The government says it has a plan, but is it too little too late?
It is too late, really. I mean, there's no hope. All hope isn't lost, but it is a little bit too late just on the simple fact that we knew this 20 years ago. They could have done this 20 years ago, but they chose not to.
The latest data we have comes from Fáilte Ireland, which is the state agency for tourism, and that shows that 20%, at least 20% of all tourism beds throughout the country are now contracted to the state for either Ukrainian refugees or international asylum seekers. So that's having a profound impact on the tourism economy, because you've got tourism towns up and down the length and breadth of the country without adequate tourism beds, and therefore they'll have very little tourism activity this summer. That 20% figure, is nationwide, but there are certain counties where it's actually far higher.
Killarney is just the best place in the world to live. It's the best place in the world to grow up. I played soccer out in the street there as a kid with my brothers. I just love it. I love this town. Killarney is very unique. Our industry is tourism, and the small hotels, the small bars, the small cafes, and the JRVs and the taxi drivers, that's how they make their business, through tourism. My mum and dad have it since 1968, so 55, 56 years in the family business. But in 56 years, I can't see right now, and it's going to be a struggle, how we get to the 1st of May, to the tourism season, to try and get going again. Never been in this situation before, and we're not the only people.
Because they've shut down all the hotels, there's nobody coming in because the hotels are being used for illegal asylum seekers. That's it. We should have zero, same as Poland, zero. We bring in zero people.
We call ourselves the tourist capital of the world. Some people say we're only the tourist capital of Ireland, but it's synonymous. It's generation after generation, decade after decade, family after family that have put Killarney on the map worldwide. In the last 3 to 4 years, we've, everywhere's taken a big hit, but in the last 2 years in particular, we've seen lose a lot of accommodation to immigration, refugees, asylum seekers coming in, and it's about 40% a mix-up of, say, hotels, hostels, guest houses, and private homes as well. The reality of that is very simple. If you take 40% of the footfall out of a town, then you've got 40% less business on the high street.
Footfall is gone. So that 40% of people walking down the street into a small cafe and buying a coffee, or a family coming to Killarney for the week and they're going for dinner 1 or 2 nights and they're coming into the Fáilte because we've music on, and buy a pint, and dad will buy a pint and mum will take the kids down the street and they'll buy an ice cream and they'll come back and collect that. Those days are gone. And it's directly because of decisions you as a government have made. And I understand the decisions the government have made. But if you're pouring all this money into the people who are actually providing the accommodation, and that's well and good, that's your decision to go into that, what about helping out the businesses that haven't and are trying to survive?
Ireland has always been renowned for 3 things. One is the culture, one is the people, and the other is the scenery. So I think that Céad Míle Fáilte is particularly important. And I think if you have tourism towns, particularly along the Wild Atlantic Way, which don't have tourism activity, it changes the fundamentals of those towns, and that's of concern to us.
We live on the Wild Atlantic Way. Like, I know all about this, lads. Okay, all the hotels have been taken over, hijacked by, sexually deprived, military-aged men that are coming here to attack people. That's literally what it is, lads. And they're not doing anything about it. They love it. They're bringing them in. Okay, and it's not a big, like I said in the beginning, not a big shadowy cabal. It's just literally we can change the government, we can vote them out, we can bring in a new right-leaning conservative government, and it would change overnight, guys. We would actually put our own businesses first before these people.
I'm seeing it already myself. Last year I had 2 groups that came in every Friday, and now all of a sudden they couldn't get accommodation. So that's 60 to 80 people I'm down every Friday from March till the end of September. And that's just me, that's just one tour operator. So that 60 to 80 paid for so much of my costs. And then couple that with the way costs have gone through the roof now at the moment. I mean, anybody thinking of getting into our game is, I'd seriously sit down and have a right chat with you over a pint or 2 and say, think about it twice.
Right now, as a business, my mother's business, 56 years, it's on its knees. And I don't know how to lift it off its knees because it's beyond me and it's beyond a normal politician in the area to affect what has happened here in Killarney. But still the best town in the world to live in, best town in the world to do business in. But we need help. My mother, she's crying, she's upset. Everyone in Killarney knows my mom and everybody in Killarney knows how hard she works. I wish I could have her work ethic. I wish my family, my brothers could have her work ethic. She's an amazing lady. So I feel, when I sit down with my mother, I feel the system has left her down.
Oh yeah.
Effectively, refugees or international asylum seekers are coming into the country, they land in the country, and the government are obliged to house them. And
bollocks. The government is not obliged to do anything, lads. They're doing it because they're getting paid. If someone comes to your house unwanted, ding dong, hey Chris, can I stay the night? Have you paid me? No. Go fuck yourself. Bye. We don't need you. That's how it works, lads. But because they're coming to your door and they're ringing the doorbell and saying, hey, we have loads of money. Okay, come on in. That's what's going on, guys.
The last 2 years, the government have been contracting furiously with hotels and guest houses and accommodation providers around the country to try and place refugees and asylum seekers there. We were told at the time that this was a short-term solution, and the tourism and hospitality sector is obviously prepared to play its part. But unfortunately, we're 2 years, 18 months later, and still more and more hotels and guest houses are being taken out of the equation. So our fear is that it's become a medium to long-term solution.
It's never short-term. It's never going to be short. It's always going to be long-term. This is nonsense, lads.
We've always argued that refugees and international asylum seekers should be housed in alternative accommodation. We're talking about a property here in town that could facilitate up to 1,000 people. The logical thing is to take 1,000 out of the hotels that have them, put them up there, so we've still got the 1,000 people here, but now we've freed up the space for tourism, and the town kicks off again.
This building is iconic. It's on the top of Killarney, it's overlooking the stadium. It's been derelict and empty for the last 20 years. You could have it up and running by now if you wanted to spend some of the money that you're spending on some of these hotels on doing it up. But the key to that is, if you do it, and if you do up all these buildings around the country, solution again, easy solution, all the money you're spending, and you do up all of these buildings, so when the war is over and the Ukrainian people go back to their country, then we can use those buildings for social and affordable housings.
The Ukrainian people and any refugees are never going home ever, unless they get deported, because their average wage is like €400 in Venezuela, which is a hot topic. Their average wage per month is $3, $4. I had a lady in NUIG Galway. She told me, Chris, my average wage working for the state was $10 a month. Imagine. And then they have some people that are saying it's not good that this dictator was taken out of power. Guys, their wages are dog shit. They're never going home. These people are here to stay. So good job, lads. Good job.
We can put in people into apartments that we've a housing list in Killarney of 1,600 people. So you're not actually throwing dead money after dead money by giving it into a hotel and giving them 6 or 7 or 8 million a year, and you're getting nothing at the end of it. You're going to have something tangible in every town in Ireland if you just think outside the box. I feel like when I'm talking about it that I'm trying to move the Titanic in a bath.
Tourism accommodation providers, particularly in regional Ireland, is quite attractive if the government picks up the phone to you and says, listen, will you take a 2-year contract to look after refugees and asylum seekers, and here is a check.
This is the Dole office right here, lads. You see that? That's the Dole office. They're getting paid $3 back in Pakistan for the month or for the year, who knows. And then they come to Ireland, they're getting paid for free €250 per week. Nobody's going to go home. Nobody would go home.
Go along with it. They have 100% occupancy. They don't have to deal with the sort of the general day-to-day concerns of a business. The impact really is on the downstream tourism economy. So the cafes, the restaurants, the pubs, the tourist attractions in that particular town, they don't have the tourists or the visitors in that area, and therefore they're out of income.
The more places that close, the more people you're putting on social welfare. And the more strain you're going to have in the economy. I'm scratching my head at times wondering where all the money's coming from.
We have a welfare state. We don't even know where the money is coming from. I'll be honest, lads. I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I don't even think that the Irish taxes are paying for these people. I think they were getting money coming from elsewhere to fund these people coming into the country.
Because, 10 years ago, this country was broke and we had a troika coming in the door. Now there's money everywhere.
Approximately €2 billion was spent last year. It's a very significant amount of state money. It is, I suppose, a reflection of the very real crisis that we were facing in terms of a need to accommodate. None of us expected to be dealing with a war on the European continent. But I think it also shows the risk that's been built into our accommodation system over the last 20 years, where you have that absolute reliance on the commercial sector.
This is why people in the private sector find it so hard to understand how you can squander so much money in the public sector and have zero accountability. So do we just blow all this money? 5 years ago, we didn't have enough money to fill a pothole. At any stage, is somebody going to say, follow the money? Who's making money out of this? How is this after happening? How have we now got access to all this money?
I'll explain it. Thank you very much, Paul Treyarch. Like, the EU and the UN are running this sort of human trafficking scheme. They're paying Ireland millions to bring people in. That's all it is. That's following the trail. It's crazy.
And I need to fix a problem outside of my street. We can't do it. We don't have the money to do it. I think the government, without making a big hullabaloo about it, are going to have to slash the rate, because it's an insane rate that they're giving the accommodation providers. I do think you're going to see the small business person, i.e. me, I'm saying it now, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more pressure coming on those accommodation providers to go, look, best of luck, and you did great, and well done, and you've had 2 great years, but you're absolutely smothering the town. You're killing the town you tell me you love. And I think the government know that they're under pressure. They know that they've made an absolute mess of this. It's having a profound impact on towns and community right around the country, not just from a tourism perspective, which is obviously the area I'm most interested in, but also GPs, childcare facilities, schools. It's really having a profound impact across society as a whole.
That's what people mean. That's literally the definition when people say, is Ireland full? They just mean the resources, the health care, the childcare, the flipping, everything that goes along with a country being full. Of course, the country isn't by land population very populated. It's not really that populated at all, actually. There's loads of bogs and there's loads of green land, but you can't put houses there. You can't just flood 50 million people to Ireland. It's ridiculous. So yes, on paper, absolutely, Ireland is full. Absolutely. You can't even debate that. And anyone that actually debates that is actually just low IQ stupid.
Killarney's full. We've done our fair share. Everybody's welcomed. I really understand we need to look after people, but I also understand we need to look after the people living in the town, and the social fabric of the town needs to be kept the same.
This is the thing. This is why Irish people are like dying, because this guy isn't saying it how it is. He says we need to take care of people. We absolutely do not need to take care of Syrians. We don't need to take care of Somalians. We don't need to take care of anybody in the world apart from Irish people. Okay? And what do I mean by that? People with passports, people that are, citizens, let's say. And then we have a talk about how to make citizenship harder. But first and foremost, we don't need to take care of anyone. That's not Ireland's duty to take care of 50 million Chinese. I don't give a shit about Somalia. I'll be honest, lads. I really be honest. I don't care about Sudanese. I don't care about Afghanistani people. I don't care about any country in the Middle East, any war, Ukraine. I don't care about anyone else. I cannot. I'm only one man. You should only care about your fellow countrymen. That's it. That's all you can do. I mean, what do you guys want, guys? We're not God. We can't just freaking fix these problems overnight. There needs to be less empathy for people abroad. Unfortunately, I mean, it's screwed up to say that, but let the US and these superpowers, let them handle these massive, complex issues. Okay, we shouldn't be handling these massive, complex issues.
And you can't do that if, for example, I know my local doctor, he's my friend, and it takes me 3.5 weeks to get in there.
A family coming to town will have difficulty finding a GP or getting registered with a practice. When I started in practice, there were 6 GPs in the area. There were 3 last year, there are 2 this year, and one of those 2 is retiring this year. So they're going to be left with 1 GP, 7,500 of a local population.
That guy must be getting rich. That GP, that GP must be like seeing the flipping euro sign. He must be getting rich as hell, lads. Holy crap.
Just over 400 international protection applicants in Killarney in 4 different centres. There are over 2,000 Ukrainian visitors in different centres around Killarney within the town, and there's a further 1,000 in the Killarney hinterland that would be serviced by Killarney.
I know Killarney. I was in Killarney last year doing tour. I do tour guiding as well. I'm a tour guide. Okay, if you guys want a tour, hit me up. I've done many tours last year. I went to Killarney for the first time ever, and it was just beautiful. It's like the most idyllic, scenic place I've ever seen in my entire life, because I've been everywhere like north, Belfast, Donegal, Dublin, all that stuff, but I've never been south to Cork or anything like that in my whole life living here, which is crazy, but it was unbelievable. So for them to be putting them into these small little villages, it's just disgusting. Like maybe the big city like Dublin, it's not acceptable in any shape, form or fashion, but it's even worse putting them into like a city, or into a country town rather than a city. Like putting them into Kerry is way worse than putting people into like, Dublin City, because it's more like built up, but it's obviously worse either way. I'm just saying, like on the scale of things, like why are 400 people in Kerry? It's just disaster.
For the first time ever, that accompanied by the under 6s and the under 8s medical cards have created waiting lists in general practice that were never there before. There was no consultation, there was no preparation, there was no contact from anybody until these people arrived on our doorstep. I feel the department has been reckless in the numbers that they have put in Killarney. They have taken no regard whatsoever to the downward effect of the downslope effect, the ripple effect that they're having on smaller businesses in the town and on the tourism. That is a crisis just on our doorstep.
Take 1 minute to think, what have I done to negate the fact that I've taken 40% of the business off the street in Killarney? What have I done to help the businesses who have actually stuck to the tourism trade and are trying to survive?
Last week, the government published a comprehensive accommodation strategy, which sets out how we deal with the immediate crisis in terms of not being able to offer accommodation to everybody seeking international protection right now, but also sets out a way of reforming our international protection accommodation system, moving away from the over-reliance on commercial providers. Over the next number of months, we'll be ending contracts with providers of Ukrainian accommodation, and that will allow hotels move back into the tourism sector.
Roger O'Gorman is so full of shit, it's unbelievable. Unreal.
So right now we're at the International Protection Office.
And look at this for an optic. We are humane, we are human. Okay, we are humane. Look at the name of the tent. It's like this irony, it's like this massive ironic, spectacle that they've created now in Dublin. Their tent, the brand name of the tent is called Trespass. These men are coming from third world countries that are trespassing in Ireland. They're living in tents that say Trespass on the side of them. I mean, it is just, the optics are just mind-blowingly crazy.
This is the first place where asylum seekers will come whenever they land in Ireland and they're seeking asylum. They come here with their documents to register for asylum, and then they're supposed to receive accommodation on arrival, as you can see that.
They're supposed to receive accommodation on arrival. Are you kidding me or what? Are you having a laugh? Are you joking me or what? Yeah, if I just went to some random country, oh, you're supposed to give me a hotel for the night. Hey, good sir, I know I'm in a foreign land, but you're supposed to put me up in a hotel for a night. Hotels cost €250, okay? Where's the money? Give me €250 for a hotel for a night. If not, you're on the street and you're deported tomorrow. This isn't you just show up to the house and you get a flipping room in the place. What kind of nonsense is social rights Ireland? Would you go away? There's no fucking right. What's she talking about?
Not happening. This is unlawful. There are legal requirements
Cuckoo.
to find accommodation for people.
There's legal requirements. There's no accommodation. Hey, lady, wake up. There's no accommodation. What you mean? If I can't, I'm living in my parents' house in the flipping attic. You know, we're talking about an Irishman. I've lived here my whole entire life. I can't get accommodation. You're saying that some random lad from Kyrgyzstan or Tajikistan or Afghanistan, he shows up yesterday, he's supposed to just demand a flipping room? He just shows up yesterday, all of a sudden, we're supposed to, oh, sorry sir, roll out the red carpet for him? What the fuck? What are you talking about, lady? Are you lost your fucking mind? Let's just roll out the red carpet for your man Ahmed who came yesterday. What are you talking about? Are you mad or what?
And, you know, there's already been a case in Ireland and another case in the European Court of Justice, you know, that is challenging this situation.
Would you stop?
Through the Refugee Convention, which has been transposed into Irish law in what's called the International Protection Act, we have an obligation to consider an application for international protection.
I would just stop you bollocks. Nick Henderson. I'm Nick Henderson. Look at this guy, cockstrong. Yeah, man, we don't have houses for our own people. Why do you think that a man from Afghanistan gets the red carpet?
And that's a fundamental legal obligation. It's in the Refugee Convention, it's in European Union law, and it's also in our own domestic law. There is
absolutely insane. If 10 million Chinese were coming here tomorrow seeking refugee, we'd have to roll out the red carpet. Would just stop you, bollocks. This is stupid. This is stupidity beyond belief. I don't even understand what's happening here.
Also, and this is really important and it's very current, we also have a legal obligation to provide what are called reception conditions.
Oh.
And that would involve accommodation, basic accommodation, and access to washing facilities and food.
I would call it
That is absolute. Let me tell you something. Under my rule, under County Gaines, Ireland, I wouldn't be providing jack shit for anybody apart from Irish people. I don't have to give you anything. Okay, unless you're my own people, of course. If you come here from flipping wherever, Tunisia, I don't have to provide you with 5-star accommodation. You go to hell. Go back to flipping where you came from. What kind of nonsense is this, lads? This is again now, like, this is the kind of bullshit narrative that the Virgin media are trying to portray. This is absolute bollocks, lads.
Humanitarian crisis. Now, there are 3 and 4 people per tent because as an organisation trying to help on a very practical level, we can't supply enough tents for everybody. So the problems are increasing in terms of like sanitation, even just being able to find a toilet, never mind a bathroom. There is no toilet available on site here. You are just heaping more trauma on people who are already extremely traumatised, who've already made desperate journeys to get here in the first place.
See, this is it now. This is the rhetoric. Don't be fooled, lads. They're trying to show them that they're the victims. Oh, they're the victims. They've came from desperate places. Oh my God. Well, yeah, that may be the case. And that may be 1% of people. But that still doesn't justify them invading our borders. You understand, guys? Do not be a victim. People that play victim to me, I don't give them anything, guys. You are not a victim. Do not look at your ancestors, even though my ancestors were in chains during the famine. In Eastern Europe as well, they were under Russian rule, they were under flipping British rule. I was colonized my entire life. My entire ancestry has been colonized like a cuck. My ancestors were cucks. I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean? They were totally colonized, okay? Totally colonized. And I don't look at myself as a victim. I'm not a victim. I don't flipping, you know, they don't owe me anything. Britain or Russia or these people don't owe me anything, lads. I build my own self, my own character. And these people, same thing. You know, if they're so oppressed, let other countries go in and save Somalia. These places are hellholes. They go around shooting each other, killing each other. They're pirates. They have no running water. They've had, guys, you can't feel sorry for places in Africa and the Middle East and some places of Latin America if they don't build these places themselves. Europeans, we built these places. America, they built America. They built these beautiful cities and countries. Okay, they didn't just arrive to the land and all of a sudden it was amazing. They actually had to put the hard work in. But these people from these areas, they don't want to work hard. They don't want to do anything. They just want to sit around and shoot each other, rob, steal. It's insane. It's insanity. The 9th century, low IQ, 67 IQ.
Fleeing war, fleeing persecution, fleeing torture.
Oh, you don't know.
And you come to a...
You know, this is, it's kind of like, we know all this, you know, like we know all this because we don't feel sorry. Even, we have the little girl here, you know, it's all optics. Oh, Chris, you're so heartless. You're so heartless. You know, the little girl that's coming here with her mom, that's not who's coming over. There's 3,000 men, you know, they're angry, sexually deprived, they're pissed off, they're could be ISIS members, that are coming over. They're the people that are coming over. It's not little girls and their mom, hey mom, are we going to be safe? That's not who's coming over, guys. Come on. This is all bullshit. Like,
country that's supposed to be a first world country, one of the richest countries per capita in the Western world, and then you're met with this hostility, you know, from the government. It's really shocking. Irish people are shocked as well. They're only learning and they're only realising that this is happening. But I suppose...
Cry me a river. We all had hard upbringings, guys. We all have harsh upbringing. Everybody has trauma in their upbringing. Everybody.
Suppose anyone who's been following how the government treats the most vulnerable in society won't be surprised by this.
It's a really shocking situation, and frankly, I didn't think we'd see that on the streets of Dublin in Ireland. We believe that the government response to this situation is completely inadequate. We think that there is accommodation within the system. People were taken off the streets after it snowed for 3 nights and then put back out onto the streets, and that was appalling. It showed that there was accommodation.
That lad's speaking with a British accent. Like, he's not even Irish. What the hell is going on, lads?
Capacity there.
I'm well aware that there are 160,000 state empty buildings. 160,000 empty buildings.
I discussed this with my friend as well. 160,000 empty buildings. That is true, but you can't just go and take them off people. Now, obviously, the government should be buying back houses and putting people up in accommodation, but they should be buying back these houses to put in Irish people, not put in people from Somalia. That
could easily, overnight, house our own Irish homeless, could house the 14,000 homeless people who are in emergency accommodation.
Now we're talking.
But those facts, of course, aren't ever illuminated by the government because the government is responsible for making the homes, allowing the homes to be empty and dormant and vacant in the first place. Right beside here, the juxtaposition of tents and an empty building is something to behold.
Yeah, finally, one person that talks about it.
Tents are cleared from Mount Street, where up until this morning around 200 international protection applicants have been living, many of them still containing personal belongings.
They're like sitting ducks because they're so exposed. You know, there's absolutely no protection in a tent. A tent can be slashed, and some of them have been.
Slumdog Millionaire.
In every level, in every step, I found really hard pushback. I learned for many people hard. For us, as black and brown people, really tough.
I was talking. Unfortunately, Sami, I don't know where you're from, Sami. I don't know, you know, some Middle Eastern country. Unfortunately, Sami, in Tunisia, in Libya, we don't have to accommodate every single person coming from the Middle East. Unfortunately, okay. Unfortunately, that's how it's going to be. Okay. Now, please, Sami, okay, from Libya, please.
A man here yesterday and he told me he's from India and he's a criminal that this government wants him. So you are out here supporting people like that, but yet you won't go in and help our own people on the streets. And he's having a fucking laugh. And he's actually alright as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why people are so angry. I'm not the only one. You can point that all that you like at me as well.
But why are you angry? What are you angry about?
That there's unvetted migrants in our country. That's why the Irish people are angry.
Who's this legend?
Enemy fakes for I break it.
Does that happen all the time?
Yeah, usually.
How does that make you feel?
I feel these people little lower education. That people then should be something change in education. We can't change them. Discuss on the street. This is a bigger issue.
Do you understand?
So he said that this man here that was shouting at the camera is lower education. Well, I mean, the thing is, lads, like, you know, what these immigrants coming over, these people affect the working class areas, okay? They're not affecting the flipping big bankers in the suits. Oh yeah, the bureaucrats. They're not affecting these really rich areas of Dublin. They're only affecting these working class, lower middle class areas. That's what they're doing. That's why they're feeling the impact very closely. Now, do I agree that, like, I'm joking all the time that they're dangerous people? I don't know, guys. They could be, they could not, they may not be. Okay, some people are unvetted, some people aren't. Who knows? Who the hell knows? You know, that's up to, it's subjectivity. We don't know where these people are coming from. They're not background checked. We just don't know. The idea of not knowing is worse than anything. That's kind of what people are upset about as well.
Understand maybe why Irish people, white people are like that.
There is fear to lose more. These people lose many things. Cost of living too high, rent is too high, families struggling, and somebody come and poor like them, then they think they will lose more.
We already.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if the immigrant coming over knows that it's about the money, that they have nothing, they have shit because they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, then that's obviously a bad situation. People are pissed off. And truth be told, you know, the government gave us a few years of prosperity, you know, economic prosperity, the Celtic Tiger, you know, everyone back in the day, like, we all knew that was a great thing. That's actually a big time when they started flooding people in. It was around the Celtic Tiger. That's when people started really coming in heavy to Ireland. And nobody cared because, oh yeah, good times ahead, guys. You know, they were taking out big loans, big houses, big cars. Everybody was doing cocaine. You know, the government were banging hookers. They were banging, you know, hot women. And they were doing drugs off cocaine, you know, cocaine off strippers and stuff. But then all of a sudden, when the turn hit, austerity and all the shit hit the fan, then people started getting mad. See, nobody cares if everybody has money. Nobody really cares. But then when you don't, it's bad.
Are living in a situation where there's huge poverty. There's 13% of the Irish population are living in poverty, and that is utterly wrong for a country that is also so wealthy. There's just something, the divide is growing, and I think it really feeds any fear amongst people who don't have very much in the first place.
Oh yeah, big time. I agree. The left and the right are really not the same. It's these liberals that are in charge, guys. The left and the right pretty much want the same thing from different angles. Okay, they want it from different aspects. But the lack of money, the lack of resources, that's what really gets you. If you don't have enough money to go to the local shop and get water or food, like, oh man, I mean, you're going to be pissed off, lads.
And it's creating that kind of punch down mentality and culture.
We're extremely concerned by the far right. However...
Oh, here we go. Hold on a sec, lads. We're not even 20 minutes into the documentary. All of a sudden, the far right. Oh my God, the far right. Guys, I've never met anybody that's far right in Ireland in my life. It's such a disingenuous even statement. The far right, racist, bigots, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic. It's like these buzzwords. When somebody says that, I just go, oh Jesus, here we go. You know, it's not even an argument. It's just buzzwords that people think they're smart by rattling off.
They are a tiny, tiny group of people. The vast majority of people across Ireland know that they stand for hatred and racism.
What are you talking about, red coat? Who's this red coat telling us what to do here? Lads, this is Ireland. Why are all these British people? Why am I listening to all these British people? What's going on here?
And we should... they have no place in our societies.
Down
here at the migrant camp, where the news media are acting mighty care. How are you, Musa? Have you not been arrested with Turkey yet? You're still wanting in Turkey. Have you nothing to say that? Don't make threats to me. Excuse me, I can hear you. No, you just hear. You don't care about the Irish homeless. You jumping on the bandwagon. You don't care about the Irish people. You're here jumping on the bandwagon. No, we need homes for the Irish 14,000 Irish homeless families. No, you don't. You're hearing about these people. Why don't you go out in Finglas on the M50, those people in tents? How come you don't go out to them? Because you're here looking for publicity. Just like Gayon O'Riordan was. Yeah, you don't care about the Irish homeless. Look at this. Bunch of freeloaders. All the NGOs coming down looking for these people. Yous are all looking freeloaders.
Damn, Gavin Pepper's got balls. Like, what does it say here? Michael O'Keefe, he's like an ex-guy on X, big time guy. He's like great friends with Elon Musk, Michael O'Keefe. But he said, Irishman Gavin Pepper visits Tent City in Dublin, like Skid Row. It's like a flipping shit show, you know? And exposes Roisin McClure of Social Rights Ireland and other state agents. Okay, yeah. People call me a state agent. An anglicized state agent. I don't even know what that is. Guys. But yeah, like, it is crazy to think that, You know, you have this tent city here in Dublin, and that's the only place that's getting publicity. But on the M50, where the Irish homeless are, they don't get any publicity, you know. Bizarre stuff. Real bizarre. Gavin Pepper is a good guy. He has balls, you know, he's saying it how it is, and it's tough.
I mean, we talk about the rise of the far right in Ireland. I think it's overblown, but I think if the political class was actively setting out to create an opposition on the extreme fringes around immigration, they couldn't be doing a better job. If they were trying to do that, I don't know what they'd be doing differently. But I also think that it's been massively overblown by a political class that has been eager to blame anything else but their own policy for it.
Oh God, so John McGuirk is for Gript Media. A lot of people think that Gript Media is like funded by the state agents again. Like I said, guys, I'm not funded by anybody. Literally nobody. Like, look at my bank accounts, guys. I get donations. I get paid by YouTube. I get, you know, I have my own businesses. I'm not funded by anybody. But a lot of people think that certain people in Ireland on the right, like John McGuirk and Gript Media, are funded by big countries, let's say. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate. I don't know, guys. But I think that's kind of an attempt to sort of divide the right as well. I think left-wing people say that, or people that pose as right-wing people, but they're actually left-wing, really. Technically, they're left-wing. So it's a bit unfair. Like, people hate on John McGuirk. I don't hate the guy. I think that they're doing a good message. You know, I mean, are they funded by places that they shouldn't be funded by? And if they are, it's not good. But who the hell knows? Who knows? I don't know, guys. We don't know.
It's been massively overblown by a political class that has been eager to blame anything else but their own policy for it. Paul Murphy named 3 or 4 individuals in the Oireachtas recently. I think if the political class genuinely believes that 75% of people are expressing concern on this issue because of those 3 or 4 named individuals, then the political class is in a state of utter delusion.
We know who incited this riot. We know who called for people to come out on the streets. At 2:16, a white supremacist, Mick O'Keefe, issued his first tweet. He followed off at 2:50 saying that a foreign man entered the school and stabbed 5 children, said that the kids are dead. Fergus Power tweeted at 2:55, a 5-year-old girl is alleged to have passed away. This better get people off their arses and out onto the streets. Philip Dwyer, a creche creeper and dog kicker, streamed a video at 4:04 saying he was going to be in town at 6 o'clock. Gavin Pepper, another far-right agitator, called people onto the streets for 7 o'clock in town. Derek Bly had a video saying we are at war, echoing the words of Conor McGregor. We know who called people out.
We are really
Ooh, man. You know, Paul Murphy blocked me on X. I actually never really commented on his stuff apart from his baby. He calls his baby not a boy, but real scumbag piece of shit, guys. Wow. That was really low, like calling Mick O'Keefe a white supremacist. Man, that's like not, man, Paul Murphy's like not a good guy, guys. Like, he is not a good guy. Then he's saying that, then Fergus Power, he called Fergus Power another right-wing guy. They're basically saying that they're spreading far-right misinformation. And then he said Philip Dwyer, a creche creeper. A creche is like a nursery, a play school. You know, like young education for kids, and a dog kicker. Like, that's so low, man. Like, that's like some shit women would do. That's some shit like a vindictive woman would do, you know? Because men, like, we fight each other physically. We would never talk shit because then we have to fight each other. But like, that's some bitch shit, guys. Like, that is some real bit, man. Paul Murphy is a fucking bitch, man. Like, that to say that, to call, I heard this years ago, but I didn't hear it so clearly like this. I just heard segments of Paul Murphy talk. Man, that's some bitch shit, man. And then Derek Bly, these are all great guys. They're all great. They're all the powerhouses in the right-wing movement, you know? And I'm low-key jealous. I'm low-key jealous that Paul Murphy didn't say my name in the Dáil. I would love for him to say my name. And hopefully he'll see me in the Dáil one day, and we'll all be in the Dáil, you know, confronting him, because these people are allowed to say this because they're saying it behind closed doors, guys. They would never say that shit to their face. They would never. Could you imagine? He would never say to Philip Dwyer's face, "You're a dog kicker, creche creeper." He's basically calling Philip Dwyer a pedophile, like, you know, that's actually slanderous. I think Philip Dwyer should sue Paul Murphy. I didn't know he said that. A creche creeper. That's like saying you're lurking in the back, you know, you're lurking in through the doors to see if there's any kids, like as a pedophile, you know, to kidnap them or molest them. Like, bro, Paul Murphy's a real piece of shit, man. That's real scumbag. Wow, I didn't know I didn't know he said that, guys. Wow, that's shit, man. Oh my God, Paul Murphy, wow. And he blocked me on X. The absolute idiot blocked me on X. I never even said anything about him on X. You know, just talk shit about, wow, that's a low blow right there. That's you just don't say shit about, you just don't slander people like that, you know? If you slander people like that, that's like, talk about war, that's like you go to war with someone if they slander you like that. Oh man.
We are really concerned by the opposition that exists, and we would also say, though, that we think there's a very clear distinction to be made by people who would be going so far as to commit arson, people who would be outside an accommodation centre where people are actually living. We think that's a line that shouldn't be crossed.
Well, obviously nobody should be, you know, going to burn down people's houses, but you can definitely protest outside. I don't know the law. Can you protest outside centres? I don't know, guys. But, you know, they make it a law that if you film an iPass resident, then you go to jail, you go to prison for even questioning it. See, this is what authoritarian fascist governments do. They bring in harsh laws, and then they say, if you contest them, you will go to prison. What is that? That's like Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot. That's all these dictators. That's a dictator type of shit.
As opposed to people who have concerns about the situation, have questions,
Yeah, I have concerns, I have questions.
Answers. I think there is a significant role and responsibility on government to communicate better.
I recognise where we're opening new accommodation, there's a diverse range of views. Some people want information, some people disagree with government policy, and people are entitled to disagree with government policy, and they're entitled to express that either through protest or indeed through the electoral system. But there are also people out there, and you only have to look online, who hate people because they're from a different country or because their skin is a different colour. And I think we shouldn't be afraid to call that out and recognise that these people are spreading a huge amount of incorrect information, disinformation, lies about what's happening in our country right now.
Wow, I think he's spreading hate. He said that you have to look online to look at people. He said there's a big difference between people that concern their concerns like I do, and then people that are spreading hate. Guys, I don't see any hate being spread. I literally see none on the internet. Like zero in Ireland. In the US, like there's actually some hateful guys, like you know, proper guys that hate other races or whatever, and it's like kind of almost ironic, and they're trying to make it as a joke, but it's pretty hateful. In Ireland, there's literally zero. It's only people that are concerned about what's happening in the country. Nobody hates anyone for their skin color. This is all bullshit, guys. This is all just trying to push their agenda. Like Roger O'Gorman's trying to push his narrative here. What is that? Correct disinformation about lies about the country. Bizarre stuff. Like, why would you say that? There's no disinformation.
Right. Media talks about it endlessly. The political class talked about it endlessly. I think the talk about the far right contributed to a lot of the degree to which people aren't listening to politicians on this issue, because there was a while there where it felt to a lot of people like any dissent at all risked putting you on the far right. Yeah. And I think there are people in this country who say a very simple proposition. We're for immigration. We've had migrants coming into this country for years. Since the Nice Treaty and the enlargement of the European Union, we have tens of thousands of Polish, Lithuanian, Latvian, Romanian people from those accession states living here. It never had an issue. But I believe in my heart that immigration should be controlled and managed and aligned with the resources that we have available. I don't think those people are far right. I think people who say that a country's first duty is to control and manage its own borders and secure its own borders are reasserting the basic purpose of the nation state since the concept was established.
Yeah, and the only thing, like I say, the most important issue with immigration is the volume of people. If we're bringing in 500 people that are educated, that are hardworking, that want to help generate to the state, they give back, they pay taxes, that's one thing, like 500 people. We've had 500,000 people come in since 2022, guys. And I can't even get a job. I remember even applying for jobs. And like, I have a degree, I have the whole thing. I went through the whole Irish education. Lads, just get an education, lads, you'll get a job. It's all bollocks, man. You wouldn't get fucking anything. Like, I didn't get anything. My brother didn't get anything. Nobody I know get anything that's actually good or worth any good job here, because there's so much competition. There's like, you're competing with people from Canada, and like bollocks should be competing with people from Canada. Nobody from Canada should be getting a job over an Irish person. That is absolute bullshit, guys. Absolute bullshit. Like, so that's one concern. The next thing is just the volume. If you're bringing in millions of people, I mean, it is going to destroy the country. I mean, what is that going to do, guys? It's not about the people. It's not about race, religion, background. To a certain point, you want to keep your own race, religion, background in Ireland. Absolutely. You put your own people first. To a point, absolutely. But then it's like the volume is just crazy. It's really a simple argument, but these people don't want to accept it. They want to call you racist because they're making loads of money from it, and we're not. We're just getting the shit end of the stick, basically.
Not saying anything new or radical or dangerous.
Galway by. Let's go, lads. Let's go. This is gonna be a shit show. What's happening in Galway? Come on. The best part of the whole country. You know, you had your man there at the beginning saying Killarney, Kerry's the best part of the country. No, Galway's the best county. All right, stop with the flipping Killarney. Killarney's nice. It was the most beautiful place I've ever been. But Galway is nothing like Galway, lads. Nothing like Galway.
Gardaí have carried out searches at 4 properties in Oscahal in County Galway as part of their investigation into a fire at a hotel there.
They started off and they opened our borders completely and let the place be flooded. So now we're in a situation where we are full to the brim and we're overflowing. In December, we got an email, ourselves as councillors, as elected representatives, all got an email telling us the department were bringing some IPAS refugees down to a local hotel in our area in Oscahal. Straight away, my phone anyway started going crazy because there was an awful lot of the local residents there who were all concerned in relation to this, because we were told at that stage even that this was 70 young males that were coming into the area. It wasn't families or anything else, it was 70 young males. It's a very...
70 young military-aged, sexually deprived men are coming into the area. Okay, not young families. What kind of shit? Guys, no families are escaping. That's never going to happen.
Rural area, it's not fit for purpose to be putting people into cramming them in, say 4 people in every room in a rural hotel in the middle of no place with no services. No, that's basically what we said. That hotel had a fond memories for all of us in the community. I said I had my own wedding reception in that hotel, and many other people around the area had too, and Christians and everything else. And I got a phone call again to tell me that the hotel was on fire. We've seen this has happened.
I remember that. My friend was actually there. He was delivering bread around that area, and he sent me videos and shit. Absolute crazy stuff. Crazy. Obviously, you don't condone that, guys. You shouldn't be burning down properties, but proper protesting. But at the end of the day, what happens, guys? This is what's going to happen eventually. This is what's going to happen. The government have done this because they're not listening to the people. Listen, guys. If the government just listened to the people and said, no, we're not bringing in people, this wouldn't happen. But because they're not listening to the people, unfortunately, people get angry.
And in several places around the country at this stage where premises have been burnt, and I think from Gardaí's investigation it's probably obvious enough that it is arson, but at the same time, isn't it terrible to think that if it was a local person, that they were forced, they felt like as if they were forced into a situation where there was no other solution for them to do something like that.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's just unreal. I remember that happened. It was unbelievable.
It was on the morning of the 6th of January. At 6 o'clock in the morning, we were awoke by the sound of the doorbell ringing, the front door banging. There was banging on the windows, there was shouting going on, there was flashlights shining in through our windows. And when we opened the curtains to see, it was the Gardaí that was there. They had a search warrant for my house, so I asked to see the search warrant, and they showed it to me. And I said, well, okay, you can get on with your work, so there's nothing else I can do about this. And then they proceeded to carry out a search throughout our house. I don't think...
They thought that Noel Thomas burnt down the flipping house. Hardly they thought him. I was just in Salt Hill, beautiful Salt Hill. I love walking in Salt Hill all the time on the promenade. But I can't believe they thought Noel Thomas burnt down the property. They hardly thought that, did they?
Search warrant for my house, so I asked to see the search warrant, and they showed it to me. And I said, well, okay, you can get on with your work, so there's nothing else I can do about this. And then they proceeded to carry out a search throughout our house. I don't think I've ever seen in the history of the state, where there's been a search warrant granted for an elected representative's house.
Yeah, that's actually... I think when that happened, because I remember hearing this happen, that was almost like a landmark situation, because there's never been a search warrant granted for an elected representative's house. That's crazy. So that's basically suggesting, bear with me lads, okay, conspiracy theory Walsh, that's basically suggesting that he was ordering attacks on these premises. Wow, that is a crazy thing to imply, to infer on a politician in the country. Wow, I mean, crazy stuff.
That's kind of most draconian set of measures I've ever come across. John, it's a funny feeling to be, for somebody, an upstanding citizen like myself, to be treated like a criminal.
That's crazy.
It's quite shocking. That phrase that says the inn is full, I stand by that 100%, and actually I'd go further. I'd go further as to say that the inn is actually overflowing completely, and it's completely out of control altogether.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech is almost gone in relation to these sort of things. You cannot stand up and say what the concerns are that your local constituents have. It's scary to see that happening.
I love it. That's great, actually. And I don't know anything about Noel Thomas. I don't know anything about the lad. I don't follow local Galway politics that closely at all. But he's right, guys. I mean, the freedom of speech in this country is gone. I mean, it's a blessing that I'm able to post to YouTube, that I'm able to post to different platforms, X. But without these platforms, we would literally have no voice. Thank God for the internet, lads.
Are they getting off the bus up there?
Yeah, the armed response are there.
Meaning?
There's a man with a suitcase blocked by me. That's not a family. Another single fucking man. Another single fucking man. That's fucking terrible. Look, he's kicking me! He's kicking me! I don't care what you fucking turn back! He's kicking me! I'm videoing it! I'm videoing it, Craig! I'm videoing it! I'm videoing it, Craig! Fucking big man! I told you! Look at
There's genuine concern here. There's people here that are passionate about their families, about their communities and about their town. So like there has been no far right here, there has been no agenda, there has been no organisations. These are just concerned citizens of Roscrea.
They were bullying us. We were standing peacefully. One man got pulled into a paddy wagon for no reason. That was a fully functional, operational hotel till last Thursday evening. Our town is dying. You have to go in and look how many shops are closed on the main street. And that's it.
It's really sad, guys. I hate seeing Ireland, the country of my dad and my ancestors, now turning into this hateful, angry place. I'm saying hateful as in the Irish people hate the government, okay? Because you shouldn't hate your government. You should kind of like the people in charge somewhat, I hate seeing it, guys. It does something to my soul, guys, to my soul, because spiritually, this is not right. What they're doing is not right, and they know it as well. They're destroying the country. It's spiritually wrong seeing your own fellow people so upset. If people are so upset, understand, guys, you have done wrong. I know it's kind of a hard pill to swallow. The Irish government have a hard pill to swallow, but understand, guys, there are two sides. Just if someone's really upset at me ever, I'm like, oh shit, I must have done something bad. You have to accept that, man. You can't just say, no, all these people are far right lunatics. That's insane, man.
The biggest losers of it all is Roscrea and the people of Roscrea. At the moment there are 7 bedrooms that are available for B&B in Roscrea, a town that's serving 6,500 people. Some people would say they're trying to turn Roscrea into a ghost town. Roscrea has been very welcoming. We have near on 400 Ukrainians who moved into what is known as the old convent building. It was a former school, a youth school. There's another refugee centre in Roscrea with well over 100 males in it. For the size of Roscrea and the services in Roscrea has more than helped and done a share. We just didn't need any more, and the big problem is we just can't cater for any more. Like most other towns and villages around the country, our services were very poor. Go back 4 or 5 years ago. Now we have this influx of people and we didn't get any more services. I don't believe the government ever had a plan. Now, maybe they got taken by surprise, the numbers that were coming into the country, but like any of us, you can always put your hand and say, stop, we can't take any more.
If you look at a town that has had, for example, its hotel effectively closed, as in closed to the public, closed to the services that are provided, and then somebody has come in and either bought that hotel or taken it away from them in return for a very lucrative contract, paid for, or the very same taxes that the people in that town are paying, that feels like, I think to many people, a government assault on the citizen. Oh, yeah. It feels like, look, we are essentially paying for our own services to be taken away.
So I was literally sitting at my desk working away, and it popped up on Facebook. Councillor Burke had a notification up that we were expecting 50 IP applicants, all male, to move into Ballinrobe on the Monday morning. Ballinrobe is such a small town, small community, but what are 50 males going to do standing on that street day in, day out, 2 feet away from a creche?
50 males are going to stand and hover outside this street, on Main Street, day in and day out. This is Ballinrobe. It's a commuter town. It's a brilliant town with brilliant people and brilliant businesses. Woo! But I, for one, if this happens, my daughter will not walk down the street, and I will not walk down.
I laugh about it now because Helen McAtee was interviewed, and so was Leo Varadkar. Firstly, on Saturday, in his interview, he said, Ballinrobe will have to realise, and other communities, that they have no veto to decide who goes and who comes out of their community.
Leo Varadkar is the devil. I've said it plenty of times before. This beautiful Irish woman here, saying it so eloquently. This is what Leo Varadkar said. You have no veto about who comes in and out of their community. Guys, in Ireland, we have the system of basically not allowing planning permission, that if you apply for planning permission for your property, anybody in the whole country can actually veto and say, no, I don't want that person there because there's a fairy ring for it, or there's something, there's some cultural heritage site or some whatever. But for some reason, when it comes to thousands of illegal men coming over from Syria, we're not allowed to vote on that. We have no veto on that. Oh shit. They have another thing coming if they don't think that we do, guys. Of course we do.
Who lives there? So I had a video ready to go of the creche and down the back.
So this is what us as a community here in Ballinrobe are protecting. This is the play school. This is the building where 50 meals are going to be placed.
Then the next thing, Leo Rod goes on the news at 6 o'clock and says, well, actually, we decided on Thursday that it would be families. So that's why I'm kind of giggly about that, because we did overturn the government. And Helen McAtee can go blue in the face, so can Leo Varadkar, but we overturned them, and other communities are following suit now.
The terrifying thing for the government on this issue is it's not one demographic. It is people who feel that their communities are being changed fundamentally without their consent, without them having voted for that change. And the government has responded to that with slogans that I think have exacerbated the issue in a terrible way. They've said things like nobody has a veto on who lives in their community. But that's not true. It's not true in any other situation. If for example, a developer came into a local town and proposed to build 300 new homes, the local people very much do have not a veto, but a right to protest and a right to take that through a legal process that can, as people looking for a home know, last for years.
Hey, you copied my example, John McCorrick.
And yes, when it comes to this particular issue, all those same rights to object or have input into the process have been trampled over, which is exacerbating the anger.
We were always open to people that genuinely needed help. And when I seen the little family come out on the Tuesday, I broke down. Because you had a mummy and daddy, a wee girl about 4, and the other little girl about 7 or 8. And I said, this is why we done what we done. It was never about racism or being left-wing or being right-wing. It was about genuine concern for getting the people that needed help. We didn't want to paint that picture of any sort of racism or this being related to crime. But the realistic opinion of people here, including myself that have businesses, is these people are not vetted. They're coming here. They're brought into the IP centres to be assessed. And it was all in all the safety of the kids, the businesses, and people would not go to the town. Let's be realistic. They would not walk down the street of the town with 50 meals there.
Proud as an...
Leo Varadkar is the devil. He's actually trying to kill the entire nation. A lot of these guys with these weird fetishes, and I'm not going to get into it, but I'm kind of a conspiracy guy. A lot of these guys with these sort of death cult, fetishes, or they can't have kids, let's say, this kind of stuff, they're angry at the world for certain things. Maybe they got molested as a kid, whatever happened to them as kids or whatever. And now they're trying to take that anger out on the people. Understand, they don't do this for no reason, lads. This is done on purpose, This is for sure done on purpose. Something happened to them, and now they're just trying to retaliate, hurt people. It's crazy.
Organisation to work with people seeking protection, and that includes women and children and families, but it also includes single men. I've been doing this work for more than 20 years, and some of the most vulnerable people I've ever worked with are men. I can assure you that within 48 hours of somebody arriving in Ireland, the authorities would know more about that person than they would ever know about you or I. They would, if I apply for asylum in Ireland, I'd be interviewed at Dublin Airport. I'd be directed to Mount Street, to the International Protection Office on Mount Street, and at that office I would have my fingerprints taken from me. Those fingerprints would be checked on what's called the Eurodac database. I'd be subject to a preliminary interview where my name, age, address, family details would be taken from me. So there's a huge amount of information that's taken from somebody.
Absolutely wrong, 100%. I've said before, the Irish government, the Gardaí, aren't ringing up the Somalian government because there is no Somalian government. There is no Syrian government. There is no Libya government, Lebanese. There is no all these different countries. There's no government. They're not ringing them up. How, lads, can you give us a background check? Taking their fingerprints. You think a random guy, a 9th century, 65 IQ man from Somalia, okay, that lives off the local coconuts and whatever mangoes in the local forest, you think he's on this Eurodac, stupid Eurodac background checker? What did he say, guys? Did they check him on the what's called the Eurodac, the sort of Eurodac processing? Okay, so we know more about this person ever. That's absolute bullshit, guys. Have my fingerprints taken from this Eurodac processing? Come on, man, come on. Eurodac database. No, none of these people are on the Eurodac database, okay? They're crackpots, potentially.
That's taken from somebody within a short period of time in the country. We just don't, it's not borne out in reality, the idea that we have unvetted people coming here. Absolutely 100%.
Most people that probably enter here are unvetted. Absolutely 100%. Without a doubt. I can prove it as well. There's not even a fucking question. People coming from Afghanistan. Like, you think the Gardaí are ringing up the Taliban? Hi, lads, will you give us a background check on Ahmed? No, there's no Taliban background check, guys. What is he talking about? Crazy stuff. That is actually an out lie, and it's uncomfortable. Crazy stuff. That is insanity.
have remained the countries of origin for asylum seekers have remained pretty much the same over the last 5 years, but the numbers have increased dramatically. So Georgia, Algeria, Syria.
Okay, let's go through these countries, guys, because there are safe countries. Nigeria is safe, South Africa is safe, beautiful. What is it called? Zimbabwe is safe. Morocco is beautiful. Okay, Morocco is beautiful. A lot of these countries, the Gulf states, Bahrain, these different places. But let's go through the states that they're coming from. Georgia is safe. Georgia's fine. Algeria, shithole. Syria, shithole.
Last 5 years, but the numbers have increased dramatically. So Georgia, Algeria, Syria, a wide range of kind of African countries in smaller numbers. The vast majority enter the country on commercial flights, typically from another European country. A smaller number would be trafficked into the country, and we've seen some evidence of this in recent months with people being found in the back of containers. Under international law and Irish law, everyone has a right to seek international protection in Ireland. But what a lot of people do is they will destroy their passports en route to Ireland because, rightly or wrongly, they worry they will be sent back immediately if they have their travel documents with them.
Yeah, and they should be sent back immediately. What the hell? Destroying your documents is illegal. That is against the law. You should be in jail.
I think to the average person, if you said to them that I'm going to get on a plane tomorrow and I'm going to go to John F. Kennedy Airport in New York and I'm going to rock up to the security guard there and say I don't have a passport, I don't have any documents, the average person would not expect to be greeted in John F. Kennedy by the state saying, oh well, come with us and we'll put you in accommodation overnight, without any kind of security oversight in it.
That's actually perfect. I like that. I like that, John McGuire. Imagine you rocked up to John F. Kennedy Airport in New York City, guys, and they say, hey guys, or is it? I think it's just outside. I don't know if it's in New York, but John F. Kennedy Airport, it's close. But guys, imagine you rocked up. They bring you to prison. They put you in prison straight away.
In cases, I don't think that's how people would expect the system to work if they went to the US in that respect. And I think people are utterly baffled, from people who expect the state to be the sort of agent of state security. That's baffling.
Yeah.
People may dispose or not produce the document upon arrival in Ireland, and the reason for that, in our experience, is that people are scared. People are scared that if they produce the document, they would be immediately put on the next plane home.
This guy is an left-wing NGO shill.
It is a crime to arrive at immigration control without a passport. Historically, it's been very rarely prosecuted because it's considered a minor crime. It carries a small sentence. It will require a large amount of administrative work. We have seen an increase, and indeed there's been some recent cases of judges coming down quite heavily on people who have entered into the country without a passport.
Good, great.
My colleague Ben Scallon put a question to Taoiseach last year on this, pointing out that ultimately coming into the country without documents is a crime under Irish law, and how many prosecutions have been taken. And at that point, the answer was none. So this was a law that the state was simply choosing not to apply. I'm sure with
we are actually living in tyranny, lads.
Very good intentions. I'm absolutely certain that the conviction was, look, these are vulnerable people. We shouldn't be persecuting them or whatever. But ultimately, that's not a choice that the state can make. These laws are on the statute books for a reason, and there's somebody somewhere is making a decision not to enforce them. And as a result, it is highly likely, in my view, and I think in many other people's view, that there are people around the world looking at this and saying, this is a country you can go to, show up with no passport, and good things will happen.
Yeah.
The government has a list of safe countries, one of them being Georgia, which, doesn't have widespread persecution or widespread human rights abuses like a country such as Somalia or Afghanistan, say. And what that means is people applying for asylum who are from those countries, those applications can be heard a lot faster. In most cases, those claims will be denied, the historical figures show, so those people can then be issued with a deportation order.
The government used this.
Here we go. Deportation order. Something that nobody carries out. And the City West Hotel man that brutally sexually assaulted the 10-year-old girl, he had a deportation order for 8 months. He was here for 6 years illegally. How the hell is a guy illegally somewhere for 6 years? That's just... How did this guy get a driver's license? How did he actually function and live within the state? He also didn't learn English in the 6 years. How was he even alive? What was going on?
Line in relation to self-deportation all the time, where they say, look, loads of people self-deport. And then you ask them how many, and they say, loads. And that's because the truth is they don't know. I mean,
it's zero. I'll be honest, guys. It's probably like 10. It's probably like 5% of people self-deport. Like if you have a good thing going and you're going back home to Somalia where they're just going to shoot you and kill you and steal your dog and it's just terrorism en masse. You're not going to go home.
They may well be correct. It may well be that the majority of people who receive a deportation order self-deport, because it is true, and a point that I think is not made enough is that once you receive a deportation order, you no longer get any benefits or accommodation or anything like that. So in fairness to them, They have a case to make where they can say, look, life becomes quite difficult once you have a deportation order. But again, I think that...
But shouldn't life be difficult if you're here illegally? Like, life should be also difficult if you're here illegally. It's just bizarre.
Public look at that and say, well, what's your job? If somebody has been committed to prison by a judge, the judge doesn't just say, okay, well, get in your car there and drive down to Portlaoise and commit yourself. You're escorted from the courtroom to the prison by prison officers.
Yeah.
But if somebody has been told they must leave the country, literally what happens is the judge says, well, now you have to go buy yourself a plane ticket and go home. There's a huge gulf in how we deal with those two issues.
And also, they don't even have money to buy a plane ticket to return home. They don't even have the money for that.
The official figures for deportation are not very helpful for telling us how many people are actually leaving the country or being deported from the country. Only a small fraction of people are actually physically deported. For the most part, the government rely on people to self-deport. Now, how many people self-deport, we simply don't know.
In our experience and from working with people in that situation, very few people would actually do that. And they do that because they're scared. They do that because they believe that if they went back to their country, they would be at risk.
Bro, you know who's scared? The Irish people. Okay, the Somalian guy coming here, you know, or these crackpots coming over, they shouldn't be scared of anything. They've never been attacked ever. Okay, the Irish people are afraid because they're attacked all the time. That's who's afraid. Let's not even humor this narrative. Oh my God, these people are so afraid. They're victims coming over. They're not. The Irish people are the victims. We're afraid. We don't have guns to protect ourselves. We have nothing to protect ourselves. So if 10 men arrive to your house with knives, you're going to fucking die. Okay? That's who's afraid, the Irish people. Not flipping the people that are here illegally. Come on, man. They're making excuses for people that are here illegally? What the hell is this?
They have built up connections here in Ireland. They also may not be able to return to their country. They may not have the documentation to do so. So if somebody doesn't remove themselves, then the government, the authorities have the power to remove somebody back to their country. In reality, there has been little and few deportations in Ireland, and that would be consistent with other European Union countries. There's certainly been an increase in the number of people seeking protection in Ireland. If we'd been having this conversation in, say, January of 2022, there was probably around 9,000 people who were in the accommodation system. Currently, there are 27,000 people in our accommodation system.
It's actually like 36,000 now, I think, because this is a year old.
I think the problem that they have is that they keep thinking of this primarily as an issue of managing people in relation to their attitudes to race or foreigners or xenophobia, when it's not that.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, people are seeing this as a mathematical issue.
Yeah, exactly. This has nothing to do with xenophobia, race, religion, background. It's numbers, it's mathematics. It's just too much, guys. It's volume.
And so we simply don't have the space to accommodate the number of people we're bringing in.
I suppose that the phrase Ireland is full has become kind of a catchphrase nearly for the anti-immigrant, anti-asylum seeker kind of movement over the last year, in the sense that the system is under intense pressure. I suppose it's true, but the other side of it is that the country relies on immigration to a massive extent to run not just its health service, but lots of other industries as well. So
yes, how could we ever function without the Somalian immigrants coming over claiming welfare? How could we ever function without the Roma gypsies coming over? Ireland relies on immigration. We're not talking about that. They're always trying to distort the narrative. And at this fucking stage, dude, at this stage into the game, they're talking about distorting the narrative. Like, oh my God, nobody believes that bullshit narrative anymore. Nobody believes that, lads. So they're cooked.
The idea that Ireland is full, as a society, as a country, as an economy, is patently false.
It 100% is not false. It 100% is patently true.
We have huge amounts of land in Ireland. We have significant amounts of derelict properties that
Are they actually retarded, or are they just trying to piss me off? Like, guys, Ireland has a huge amount of land. How are we supposed to put millions of people into forestry areas? What are they supposed to be like in the jungle, like, or something? What the hell is this? This is just stupid. This documentary's just gone off the rails, lads.
Be used. And also, and this is a point that we always try to make, is that our accommodation recommendations for refugees and people seeking asylum do not, we believe, stray into or take away accommodation from the mainstream population, including from homeless services. So it's nothing more than a false hashtag ultimately, and yeah, we just don't, it doesn't meet reality.
In the case of our...
It isn't a false hashtag, it is absolutely reality.
And this fault, it resonates because it sums up the fact for people that this is not an issue of race, bigotry, or anything like that. It's an issue of capacity.
Yeah, exactly. It literally is actually the best definition ever. Ireland is full is the best definition ever. It talks about volume. Full. The glass half full. No. The glass isn't half full. We're not looking on the full glass or the half empty side or looking to the bright side. It is full, guys. 100% full.
At some stage, somebody needs to do the maths. Some stage, somebody needs to be made accountable. Some stage, somebody needs to be honest and stop playing politics with us. We're not stupid. It's effective. As I said, when you're backed up against the wall so much and you have to fight for your livelihood and you have to fight for your business, well then it doesn't matter what you call me anymore because I'm right.
And I think they need to get this under control and they need to strip it right back. I wouldn't be allowing anybody else now in until they sort out who genuinely needs help and who doesn't.
Absolutely, and do an audit of who is actually in the country first and foremost. Don't let anybody extra in, and do an audit of who the hell is here, what the hell is going on.
Please understand that if you bring more people to Killarney, you're only going to shut down more businesses because we just don't have any room anymore.
Ireland is full. I travel around the country a fair bit for work as well, and people of Ireland have always had the nature of being very good to give. There's only so much you can give and there's only so much you can take.
Oh yeah.
And we've given as much as we can and we've taken as much as we can.
I recognise the system isn't fit for purpose, and that's why, as long as I've been in this department, I've worked to change it. It weighs on me where I see people on the streets because the state isn't able to provide for them. It weighs on me where we have to take very hard decisions in terms of using hotels in areas, particularly in areas where maybe it's the last hotel. That absolutely weighs on me. But ultimately, I believe we can reform our system. We can put in place a better means of accommodating people, and we can put in place a better system to process people's application.
This is going to have the greatest impact I think that any government has ever seen in relation to when it comes to an election. But for some reason, their eyes are completely closed in relation to this issue, and they cannot see what their own local constituents are saying, and they're choosing to ignore it for some reason. But I can't make sense out of it. But all I know for sure is if it comes to the next general election, they are absolutely going to get a slaughtering like they've never got before.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with Noel Thomas. They are cooked in the next election, guys. We are 100% going to vote them out of power. They're going to lose all their power, and then we'll see how this country changes radically. I love you guys all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today for just €3 per month. I love you all so much. Thank you for the support. We have like 43 members, so I really greatly appreciate. The last 2 weeks have been the best 2 weeks ever, so I really greatly appreciate it. Onwards and upwards, guys. Let's keep pushing. Don't ever give up, and I'll see you all in the next one, lads. Peace.